Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. While I'm between projects at the moment, never seem to find enough time to get them done. I got some more TEMU orders in, and since the last video did so well on them, well, why not show you all what I'm spending my money on, even though I probably shouldn't. So let's get things started with something easy and cheap. This was on discount. I think I paid like $2 for it, which is way less than the advertised price. But TEMU is funny that way. If you don't use the app for a couple of days and you watch some items, then it's gonna give you a discount for one of the items that you previously interacted with. So that's how I got some of them quite cheap, but it's not always working, but sometimes you can get good deals. So this obviously is some electrician screwdrivers. Definitely not as good as the brand ones like Weehaw or whatever else you're into, your preferred brand. But these are quite good. Apparently their quality seems reasonable enough, I guess. Interchangeable tips, so you just unplug them and, well, plug them back in, and that's it. Although I would not recommend to buy these if you're an electrician as a trade. Obviously you would get properly certified and tested screwdrivers, but for me, tinkering around, they should be quite useful. And again, for the money I pay for them, even as regular screwdrivers, even if I don't use them as for electrical work, they're gonna be just fine. They come in different sizes and shapes and Phillips and Torxes and flat blades and stuff like that, and even a security bit like this. But yeah, definitely screwdrivers. You always lose them, you always break them, so a few of them definitely comes in hand. Next up, we have this. This is a panel, not a panel mount, a flush mount USB plugs, USB A and C. These run on 12 to 24 volts, so mostly automotive use. I used one in my power supply video, but I really like them. They're really thin, don't get in the way that much. You can get rid of this dust cover, I guess. It's not exactly waterproof or water rated in any way, but they do the job, USB A and C, and they are quick charge. I tested it with my phone and they do work. Even comes with a couple of screws. Let's say what the manual says here, 36 watts maximum power delivery. So yeah, I mean, good enough to charge your phone, or if you have something else in your car like a sat nav or whatever else you might charge in your car, they're good enough for that. I installed one in the front, so I don't have one of the in the accessory sockets. I can just keep it empty for anything else. And one in next to the back seats, just run a couple of wires. Be careful though, you don't want to set your car on fire. But yeah, I really like these, especially for the price. I think I paid like $3 or $4 for two of them. One is already installed, that's why it's not here. But yeah, quite useful, and I really like them. Next up is these. These are jack connectors, male and female. This was a pack of 10, 5 and 5, 5 male, 5 female. DC jack connectors, I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember the size. These are the panel mount types. They come with little nuts here, and you can mount them to a panel, and well, you can use them with whatever you have handy and everything. Since I made the speaker, which none of you watched, but my friends were quite chuffed with it, so I got a few more orders. I need to build like 2 or 3 of them, so I just figured I would order some plugs to power the speakers, and well, these again were cheap. They were $2 for 10 of them. I'm not sure about the quality, but for what I'm building, they're definitely good enough. I won't go around opening a electronic shop with them, but they're good enough, I guess, and probably locally it's, well, they sell the same thing. And again, for $2 for 5 of them, that's what, cheap, 25 cents or whatever, you do the math. 20 cents, but yeah, like them. Hopefully they're good enough. I'm pretty sure they'll do the job. Next up, we have this for measuring tools. Again, since I built the speaker, I needed some way to always have the same lines and in the same time? Well, let's put it together and then I can show you what it's about. It's gonna make a lot more sense in a second. So yeah, in case you haven't figured out, it attaches to any, well, I guess any ruler that you have in the house. I have this metal one here. So yeah, how would you use it? You would set up to your desired length, width, whatever you want to call it, and you can always have a consistent marking wherever it is. So let's say you have to drill in a big sheet of plywood or something, holes that are spaced apart at the same distance, you would just go with this and mark whatever it is, and you're always on the same spot. Same idea goes if you want to trace a line and you want to be straight with it, you would just run around with this, and well, obviously better than me doing it here on this little piece of wood, but yeah, it'll give you a straight edge all the time and it'll never move if you tighten the hand screws tight enough. And again, for the not even $2 that I paid for it, this is definitely quite useful and can fit any ruler, I guess. But yeah, definitely it'll come in handy, especially with my precision work, which I am severely lacking. Next up, we have this, which might seem weird at first, but I already put it together to save you the hassle of me struggling with it for a bit, since the instructions were not very clear. But if you don't know what this is, again, very cheap. I think I paid $3 for it, something like that. This is a glass bottle cutting jig. So it basically has a little glass cutter here, and you would put bottles, whatever they might be, and supports it nicely, and then you run around the glass cutter here and then successfully dip the bottle in hot and cold water, and at some point it will cleanly break if you're careful enough with it. This one I wasn't, and I got a little crack in it, but doesn't matter, I'm experimenting with it anyway. Why would you need anything like this? Well, I don't know, instead of throwing the bottles away, might find them a different use, maybe, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't drink out of it without sanding the edges off a bit, obviously. But you can use them, I don't know, flower pots, garden, whatever it may be, crafts, fill them with sand or something like that. And if you have some really nice bottles, this is just an old wine bottle, so you have some nice bottles, you can definitely do that here. There's plenty of videos online on how to cut them even without this jig. I've seen like ropes and stuff like that, but yeah, again, for the price, I said why not, and I got it. And you need a bit of practice with it, but again, you're gonna throw these bottles out anyway, so why not recycle them for something useful, I guess. Next up, I got myself a cutting mat. This is, I don't remember what I paid for it. Again, cheap, $3, $4, $5 maybe even less. It's just a cutting mat, nothing special. I don't like that it came bent like this in the post. So it's got a permanent crease to it, but it's fine. It's just a cutting mat. Let me take it out of the very loud packaging. But yeah, just a cutting mat for my workbench here, since, well, I got it all scored, and I mean, that's what it's for. It's a workbench. It's supposed to show some battle scars, but when you are trying to be nicer on your tools, I guess, when you're cutting tools or chisels or whatever, this thing would come in handy, so you don't mar up your cutting tools or your bench top for that matter. And in the same vein, I also got this, which is again another cutting mat, working mat, whatever you want to call it. This is silicone. You would usually use these for repair work, soldering tiny bits, or phone repair, I guess. Nothing special, just a silicone mat. In this case, blues has some space for tiny screws so they don't escape, and apparently the silicone is a bit heat resistant, so even if you do touch it with your soldering iron, it should be fine. This one is 300 by 200 millimeters, so definitely good enough for the kind of work I do. So when you're like repairing and stuff and want to be careful soldering and stuff like that, you don't get your space all stained and everything, like I did with mine. These things are good, and it's non-slip, so whatever you put on it should stay in place. But yeah, for the price, can't say I can complain, and it seems reasonable enough. Next up is this little contraption. Again, quite cheap. I think it was like $1, maybe $1.20. This is supposed to help you with soldering wires. This is 2 little clamps. So how they advertise it on the website, at least, is you take your wires, clamp them down, and it makes it much easier to solder those 2 wires together, whatever those wires may be or whatever it is. I got it for this. Obviously, we have a lot of soldering going on around here lately, but not just for that. You can also use it for work holding, let's say, very small pieces, you know. So I could use it for this little circuit board that I have, and since I don't have a proper vise for electronics, but again, I can improvise with this and just work hold, make sure it's not running away, because these things are tiny, especially this thing, if you remember the last video. So yeah, this thing, especially for the price, seemed like it could prove some kind of use. Next up, speaking of soldering, is this. This is some nickel plate, nickel band, I don't know what you might call it, I honestly forgot about it, how it's called. This is used for, it's gonna jump all over, isn't it? Yeah, it will. It's like a spring here. This is used for spot welding to lithium-ion batteries, like this one came pre-installed. This is from an old laptop battery that I took apart, so I can reuse them. That's why this circuit board is attached, so I can test them, see which one is good, which one is not. Since you shouldn't really solder to lithium-ion batteries directly to the terminals. That's not good for them. So if you get a spot welder, I don't have one yet, but I'm planning to build one or buy a cheap one. They're a dime a dozen nowadays, so I don't think I would mess around with microwave transformers or stuff like that anymore, since, well, they're so cheap nowadays. But for that, you do need some nickel strip. This is to spot weld here, and then you can connect them together or solder to this nickel strip, which is way better than soldering to these terminals directly. So yeah, this again was cheap. I don't remember, I think it was like 5 meters of it. They come in different sizes, widths, thicknesses, and everything depending on what you're going for. But this was cheap. This was like $4 for this, so I'm kind of happy with it. Definitely come in handy. I have a lot of old batteries which I want to open up and salvage all the 18650s out of them, because these are, well, they're not expensive 18650, decent quality ones. We're running around $5-6, reasonable quality, I guess. Not good enough, but yeah, these that you can salvage from laptops, they're way better quality than the cheap ones out there, so why not salvage them and see which one of them still works, still hold a charge, and then use them in other projects or whatever you have 18650s for. Just use these instead of buying new ones. So, and why throw them in the trash? Recycle. Next up we have these. I mean, they're separate purchases, but they go together. These are tiny little aluminum heat sinks, and this is because it comes in a jar. This one came by pieces. I think it's, I don't remember, I think I bought like 20 pieces, something like that. I already used a few of them. They're not all in here, but you know, just tiny little radiators, heat sinks. And this is a box full of thermal pads. They're already pre-cut, 10 by 10, yeah, 1 by 1 centimeter, with a little tape on it so you can stick them down to stuff. They need a bit of pressure to work, but they work just fine as it is. What you might use this for, and why I bought these, is, for example, this. This is Raspberry Pi 02W, even though I shouldn't be putting a heatsink on the Wi-Fi chip. Doesn't matter, it's not, well, I'm not using the Wi-Fi chip, just want to make sure it doesn't overheat. So I just stuck them down here, and it helps a little bit with heat dissipation. Not like this thing is super powerful or anything, but it does kick up a bit of heat, and a heatsink is good for them, keep the performance up. And sometimes they do shut down if they overheat. So yeah, these heat sinks definitely help. The heat sinks were, I think, around $4 for all these, and the thermal pads were like $2. Yeah, I think $2 for this whole thing, which I'm probably never gonna use up in my whole lifetime. It's a lot of them. They don't have a number, they just sell them by the jars. But yeah, quite useful, and definitely come in handy in small electronics and things that you want to keep a little bit cooler. Next up, we have this. This is referred to, I think it's Kapton tape. I think that's a brand name, I'm not exactly sure. Mylar tape, I think is another word for it. Heat resistant tape, which is basically what it is. For some reason I got two. I don't remember buying two. I only think I bought the one, but probably I added it to another order, since all of these come from, all these products here come from like 2 or 3 different orders. Whenever I need something, I just add it to the cart and, well, check out whenever it is. Yeah, this is just normal tape. I mean, I say normal, you can use it as no very expensive normal tape, but it's not what it's meant for. This is for heat protection. So this type of Mylar or whatever it is, Kapton tape, whatever you want to call it, is very heat resistant and thermic and electrically insulative. So you might have seen it on different electronic components stuck down, so things don't touch each other. And when you're reflowing or resoldering, you can also use it to protect some of the circuitry that you don't want to get affected by heat. So I don't know, if you want to throw this little Raspberry Pi Nano in a box, Raspberry Pi Zero, sorry, in a box somewhere, and you want to make sure nothing touches or gets out of place, you would just use some of this tape on it, and it'll keep everything from touching and making a short somewhere. And it's also heat resistant, so it will not crumple up when the processor heats up too much, or wires or whatever it is. It will not crumple up and destroy with heat damage. At least that's how it should be. Again, this is bought off TEMU. I wouldn't trust it with my life, but it'll certainly do something. And again, quite cheap, depending on the width that you get and the length and everything. Different prices, different sizes. I don't remember. It was around $2 or $3 for one of them. I think this one is cheaper because this one is, well, literally half the size of this one. But yeah, useful to have. Definitely comes in handy, especially if you're working with electronics. Next up, we have this. I don't know why I got it off TEMU. I just added it to the cart while I was there. You can definitely find these locally for basically the same price. I think it was like $5-6 or something like that. These things are really cheap, especially since the last time I used one, which was a long time ago. This is a cable tester, obviously. It says so on the box. I got it for RJ45. I don't know who else uses phone lines anymore. RJ11. If you've never seen one of these, they're quite easy to use. This one takes a 9-volt battery, which didn't come included in the box, but well, fine. Just add a battery there, doesn't matter. And these will let you test network cables to make sure you fixed up everything, so you don't go around running for bugs, searching for things that aren't working and you're not sure what it is, since it's so easy to mess up a crimping on a network cable. If you run your own wires or stuff like that, it's easy to find cable that already came a bit, you know, not the best quality, let's say, and then it's not working. Well, it's easy enough to test this rather than going chasing bugs all over the place. Who knows where you're gonna end up. Like recently I was installing for a friend of mine a surveillance system and a power over Ethernet cameras, and one of them wasn't working, and I got a bit frustrated. I was like, what's wrong with it? And I had no cable tester at that point, so best thing I could do, I just cut off, because again, you don't want to go chasing bugs, since the cable is the most likely, since I ran all the loops of cable, it was the most likely chance of failure was the cable, the crimping that I did at the end. So I just cut off the network jacks and attach new ones and crimp them down a bit better, and it worked. But if I had one of these, I wouldn't have to do that. since, well, it does it for you. So let me get a network cable and just attach it here. The other side. Yeah. So how these things work, obviously you can use them together or just plug in if you need to find, if you have a lot of cables in one place and you need to know one cable where it is, you just attach this to one end and then you go in your network cabinet and plug in one in a row and see which one it is. Or in this case, like it was my case, you would just use it to see if all the cable is correctly terminated. I'm not sure how well you can see those LEDs. There we go. So yeah, it basically just sends a pulse around along the cable, and if everything is okay, it will light for each individual run of cable. This case, all of them are working fine because this is a cable that came with a router or something like that. So yeah, this one also tests for ground if you have the metal connectors on the end. Some of them are grounded. I'm honestly not that big of a network engineer, so I don't know why you would use ground. I mean, I know why, interference and stuff like that, but for random stuff that I'm working on or around the house or surveillance systems over power over Ethernet and stuff like that, this is gonna work just fine to save me a lot of headaches, and it's fast and easy to use and, well, compact. It slips into your bag of tricks and that's it. If a cable wouldn't work, well, nothing would light up on this end. On both ends actually, just the LED status that is working. And if a cable would be interrupted, it's just probably just one or two of them. You either didn't crimp them properly or the cable got damaged in some way, which sometimes they do. Speaking of cables, since you probably want to keep all your cables in order, make sure you don't lose track which one is which, since I am losing track in my house with all the home server, the NAS, and all the attached devices via Ethernet. Slowly losing my mind which cable is which, and because I'm, well, not well prepared, I didn't label any of them. So time has come, I have to bite the bullet, take a day off, and label everything. In order to help with labeling everything, I got one of these mini pocket, whatever you might call it, thermal printer. These are, I think it's basically one factory making the whole lot of them. I think this is the P15, yeah. Mark Life is this brand. Again, they might look a bit different or not, but they all seem to do the same thing. Just a basic thermal printer. Let me get this out of here. Came with a USB-C charging cable since, well, it's rechargeable. Some manuals, but it's really easy to use. So let's get this out of here. So yeah, it's nothing special, just a tiny little printer. This is where you would put your thermal paper. In this case, I got stickers for it, since it's mostly used for sticker printing. So you just pair it to your phone. Let me find my phone here really fast. You pair it to your phone via Bluetooth. After you install the Mark Life app, just hold the button down for a bit till it turns to pairing, and then it's paired and connected. Like I said, in this case, this is the P15, how they call it. And well, basically that's it. Everything else you do from the app itself. So you can create labels, you can select the paper size, because they have many different sizes that are available for this thing. Not ridiculously big, but you know, reasonable size, I guess. In this case, I think this paper is 40 by 12 millimeters. Yeah, and well, that's it. You just edit here whatever you want to print and select print. You can select some of the quality and everything like that and just print it, and well, it works. And it works really great. And again, since it's thermal, it's never gonna run out of ink because, well, it's thermal. It's just thermally modifying the paper so it shows up the text that you want to put on it. And since the cables are a mess, that's why I got this printer. I also got a lot of paper for it. These are really cheap. I think the printer was the expensive one. Yeah, it was like around, like, again, expensive. It's relative. It was around $15 for it. 15 or 18, something like that. Not very expensive in the grand scheme of things. Paper was around $2, $3, depending on how many got. This roll of 4 was like $3 something. This is, as you can see, hopefully you can see it's white on white. This is specifically designed for cable labeling. Yeah. So I already printed a few to save you the trouble. So how these work, let's say, like this label that I printed for my NAS. Yeah. You just get your cable, unpeel it from the paper, which is easier said than done. Okay. Then it's only printing on one of them, so you would just fold it over so it doesn't stick to anything, and then wrap it around your cable, however you want to do it. Let's just go this way, stick it down, and now your cables are labeled. And you can print a lot of things with these things. You can print text, obviously. You can print text with them, so you know where everything is. You can print barcodes if you have like your own inventory system. You just scan them and print them and stick them down. Not necessarily to these cable things. You can print barcodes. You can print on the smaller labels as well. Text, like I said. Thank you notes, thank you labels. Stick them down if you have like your own business or whatever. Just stick them down to your product or whatever it is. You can even print pictures, badly I might say, but you can print them. And yeah, this thing, for the price that it is, also came with an extra roll of, well, just normal paper. For the price that it is, this thing is super, super nice. I'm really enjoying it. I've been printing out for everything. And it's a bit more convenient than, for example, let's say my Dymo label maker. These things are, well, they have their charm. That's why I bought it. You can find different rolls of paper in different colors and everything. This is the pink one that my girlfriend likes to label her stuff. And yeah, this one has this charm, especially the font that they use and the embossing. Sorry about that. The embossing system that comes with this Dymo label maker. Let me show you. This is the labels that it prints, something like that. You've probably seen this font somewhere. Yeah, I like this one as well, but the convenience of this one being so small, battery powered, and so many different types of labels you can print with it, not just text. It's definitely useful and helpful, but I won't let go just yet of my Dymo. So yeah, that's the label maker. If you want it, for everything, because I always forget to mention for every thing that I can find links, because some of the products go offline at some point from TEMU for whatever reason. For whatever I can find, I'll put links in the video description so you can check them out. Non-affiliate, I'm not getting paid by TEMU or anybody else for that matter. But yeah, if there's anything you should get from out of this unboxing video, well, it's definitely this thing. Quite useful and really cheap and really good for the price. If thermal printers are not your thing, well, you can also go the old school way and get one of these. This is a roll of 500 labels. I think they're designed for jewelry, for like rings, when you put those tiny labels around rings. But nobody's stopping you to use them for anything else for that matter. This was cheap. This was like $1.50. And for 500 of them, well, you cannot go wrong with just a pen and these labels will do the same job if you want to manage your cables. So yeah, again, 500 of them for like $1.50. Super cheap. If you don't want to get the thermal printer, there's definitely options to keep your cable cabinet tidy and labeled. Next up, we have these. Not all of them are here since I'm using them for my camera right now. This is a set of accessories for cameras. Since I got the camera cage in the last video, if you watched it, you keep finding new ways to attach stuff to it. And I didn't have a lot of accessories for it. This whole bag, and again, there's a lot of accessories that I'm using. I'm gonna show you a picture of what I'm using right now to keep my microphone in place. This whole bag was around $6, I think. Yeah, $6, and it came with a lot of accessories for cameras and camera mounts. I'm not swearing by the quality. Again, if you're a professional, well, you're probably not buying this kind of stuff for TEMU. But for what I'm doing, it's very useful. All these different accessories and bulbs and adapters and tripod mounts. I don't know all the names. You know, I'm making videos on YouTube, but I'm nowhere near a professional. But these things are proven quite useful if you need them, because sometimes when I went to the local camera store to buy just a random screw for something to attach my microphone, and I think for like something like this was around $8, $10, something like that, which seems a bit much for this chintzy piece of, because it was literally the same chintzy piece of metal. So yeah, decided to go on the TEMU side. If they don't prove good enough, I guess, or quality or long lasting, well, I can just buy some more, I guess. Or then I can go to a proper camera store and pick up some proper camera gear. But until then, these will suit me just fine. Next up, some simple stuff. You might not know what these are. I didn't know what they were until I saw them online, but since I did a lot of painting over this summer for different stuff, including the sticker that I built, these things popped up and they're like, man, I really could have used some of these. This is nothing special. It's just basically some cheap plastic triangles. They even have screw holes to attach them down if you're using them all the time. But these are standoffs for painting. So when you're painting something, you don't have to wait. Let's say you have a cube or whatever. Let's use this as this box as reference, for example. You're going to paint all the sides, and then, well, you have to wait for everything to dry so you can turn it over. But with these things, because they're so sharp and small, you just turn it around and paint the other side, and you don't have to worry about too many imperfections. Again, depends what you're going for, but these things are so cheap and single use. I think I paid for this lot of 20, I think it's 20, less than $2, maybe $3. I'm not exact, maybe $3, but again, for the price that it is, and if they save you 10 minutes here and there, they're definitely gonna worth the $2 that they are charging for them. Next up is this. Well, it's nothing new. They've been around for a while now, quite a while, but I never owned one. And well, as the label says, it's a magnetizer and demagnetizer for your tools. Well, when I say tools, it's mostly screwdrivers. So this is a cheap screwdriver that I had for a while. And while it is magnetic, maybe you don't want it to be magnetic. Well, this is not that magnetic to begin with. Maybe you don't want it to be magnetic, so you would use it in the demagnetizer hole, and it will demagnetize it, and it will not attract screws anymore. For whatever reason, if you're working in a tight space, you don't want your screwdrivers sticking to everything. But if you do need it magnetized, well, you can just use the other slot in it, and then it will get magnetized back again. Or if your tools are not magnetized to begin with. I don't know how good this is, and I don't even know how to use it, but you know, I can manage to magnetize and demagnetize. But again, this was quite a cheap screwdriver. I doubt there's any ferrous material in it, since, well, obviously you need iron to make it magnetized. But yeah, this will definitely prove useful whenever I'm fed up with some screwdrivers that aren't keeping the screws in place. Next up is this. Well, again, quite easy. It's just a bunch of wires, quite cheap. I think it was like $3. Where is the end? Here it is. For this set of 5 rolls, I don't remember the wire gauge for it. It doesn't matter. I just needed some very thin wire for some repair work here and there. This is, well, nothing on the roll, to be honest. There's very little left on it. But it doesn't matter, again, just for random patch jobs and repairs here and there. It's nice to have different colors so you can differentiate everything. And you would take these off the rolls and put them through the little hole in the cardboard box. Put them on the shelf in your workshop and then just pull a little bit that you need, cut it off, and use it for whatever you need. So yeah, this one is quite thin wire. I'm pretty sure I can strip it with just my fingernails. I'm not sure about the quality. Let me check a bit. Not sure if it's copper. Doesn't look like copper. Well, what do you know? It is copper. It's turning red. A quick way to know if it's copper or aluminium or copper coated aluminium is with a lighter. If the wire turns red in the heat, that means it's real copper. If it starts melting, well, then it's aluminium. But considering how little there is in these wire, I don't know why they would cheap out on making them aluminium. But yeah, quite useful to have, especially if you need little tiny wires for patch jobs or whatever else you might need them from. Wouldn't bet my life on them, but for small repairs they should do the job. You don't have to buy this kind of thing. I mean, if you need different colors, you can. They're definitely useful, especially for the price, $2 or $3, whatever they were. But if you're on a budget, you can always go salvaging, and you can find old computers, or if you have some of old computers lying around, or anything for that matter, like you have like a hardware store, like a thrift store or whatever, you can get cheap computers or cheap cables. This is an old ID cable. They're really good for little tiny wires like that. You can just take one apart from the bundle here and use them the same. But again, this is the same color. That's why you would get a kit like that, because they're different colors, so you don't lose track of your patchwork, whatever you might need them. But again, these, well, you can basically get them for free. If you're looking around a bit, or maybe you have a few of them in your drawer, well, you can use them for little patch jobs here and there with the wires. Next up, it's this that I showed a sneak peek earlier. This one, if you've seen any of my videos, you know I have this little Lazy Susan that I like to showcase some of my projects on, and I like that thing. I think I got it from IKEA. It's used for a different purpose, but I clear it out whenever I need to show something. So I thought, well, why not get it mechanized one? So that's what I did. So this thing is, well, it came with this mirror reflective thing. It still has the protective cover on it. This is a turntable. Electronic turntable. I got this one just wall powered with micro USB here, but I've noticed inside that it has spaces for like 3 AAAs, I think those are, and an 18650. Let me open this, but I'm not sure it's connected to anything. I haven't opened it up yet. I'm gonna do it later to see what it's about, but well, I'm not gonna use it on batteries. You might use it on batteries if you have like a business where you want to display something in a storefront, like a bakery or I don't know, whatever else. If you want to display something and it's remote, or maybe it's in a fridge, if you do have a bakery and you want a cupcake or something spinning around, showing it to clients, maybe you do want to run it on batteries. But for my purposes, micro USB cable hooked up to power will work just fine. Yeah, so just plug it in, a little LED is starting, and then you start it and it starts spinning. Let me add something on it so you can see it better. So yeah, it seems steady enough. It has 2 different speeds, I think. That's what they advertise it as. Yeah, so this one is faster, this one is slower. It's a bit stuttery, but it does the job, I guess. And you can turn them left and right for whatever reason you might want to show up the other way, turning the other way. But again, for the price I paid for this, I think it was $8 or $10. It's definitely going to be useful in my videos, just when I want to showcase something or, you know, be a bit more artistic with my work when I'm showing things around. I'm not sure about the torque, if you can put a lot of weight on it, but again, for what I'm going to use it for, definitely going to be useful. Next up is this, a pry tool. I know, nothing special. I got a set of two, but I already lost one, as usual. This one is calling itself Sesamo, which is not the real ones. As far as I know, they're made in Italy. This obviously wasn't. I paid $1.50 for two of them. But, you know, just no pry tools. They're not very good pry tools, since it's, well, it's easy to bend. But the way I'm ham-fisted with everything that I do, these will get bent up anyway, even the real ones. I'm sure I'll break some of them. But get the real ones if you are looking for pry tools. They're made in Italy and they're definitely a lot better quality. But for me, this will do just fine with just some random prying about. I definitely wouldn't use them for phones or anything delicate like that if you are fixing those. But again, you probably don't need me. If you're fixing phones for a living, you don't need me telling you you shouldn't get fake ones off TEMU. And last but definitely not least is this little, well, they call it a vacuum cleaner. That's not what I bought it for, even though you can use it as a little tiny vacuum cleaner. I saw a Project Farm video, I think. Yeah, Project Farm. If you're not following him, you should. He does a lot of testing with, well, a lot of stuff. But he did one of these with these little hand blowers. This one was definitely not one of the good ones that he recommended, but his was from Amazon and definitely above my budget. This one is a cheap one. I think I paid $12, $13 for it. Nothing special, to be honest. Came with a bunch of paperwork. Rechargeable. This is the vacuum accessory for it. Get this box out of the way. Then you can use for actual vacuuming. Again, I wouldn't use it for that. That's not what I bought it for, even though you probably could for like tiny little spaces. I bought it as a blower, so you would attach the other accessory to this end, and then it's gonna turn into or the long one or the smaller one here, which is gonna turn it into a little air blower if you're cleaning up if you're cleaning up a computer or something, or some fans or stuff like that, which I definitely am from time to time. It's not like I never touched my server in 3 years, which I obviously should have, but I didn't. But anyway, this will get the job done a lot faster, let's say. So yeah, it's just a basic electrical air blower. Sorry about the noise. Seems to do the job, quite loud, but, well, what do you expect? It's not going to be silent. What I don't like about it, and again, this is rechargeable. It has a little plug here, which is fine. I don't mind that. What I do mind is the charging circuit is in the USB-A plug itself. I don't know if you can see that little tiny circuit board in there, this translucent plastic. You probably can't, but I can. So yeah, output, it says 8.4 volts, so all the charging circuitry is inside this. So if you lose this, you're screwed. So I wouldn't recommend you get one of these. Get one of them that charge over USB-C. I didn't pay attention. Should have gotten one of those. But, well, it is what it is. I got it. I'm not gonna return it now, so I'm gonna use it. I used it a bit. Battery seems to last a long time, and again, it's not the most powerful thing ever, but it gets the job done, and it's definitely helping me clean up my stuff a little bit better. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, links in the video description if you need any of these items. Thank you all for watching. If you do like the content, I would appreciate if you would subscribe, and hopefully see you for the next video.